Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farsi Show presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag, and it is absolutely wonderful to have you along for the ride. Let's see if the camera stays on for this round of show. How about that? Busy day today for your boy. Let's see, you got me right now. And if you really like me, I'll be on again later today with Keith Pompey. We got our 76ers Daily podcast. If you really, really like me, then I'll be on with the Eagle Squad podcast. Both of those shows on Locked On Sports Network there. Locked On 76ers YouTube channel, Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. And then with the Phillies started their 3-game set north of the border in Toronto, you got me on Locked On Phillies postcast. So, oh my goodness, lot to get into today, man. I have myself a good time. It's a good thing I like talking sports, right? Here's what was going on today. Eagles resume OTAs. They have another OTA practice down there at the NovaCare complex. The media is allowed to attend. So you'll be getting the reports on what the goings-on is and are there at the NovaCare complex. Vic Fangio is set to address the media at noon today, and then practice will get underway at 12:50. Some other players are expected to address the media as well. I'll go through what I would like to hear from Vic Fangio, what I expect to hear from Vic Fangio. And also, Saquon Barkley has taken over the city of Philadelphia thanks to the upcoming Madden cover. If you haven't seen it, I'll show it to you. You've probably seen it by now. It does. There is one specific thing about it that really does give me the warm and fuzzies about the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's something that it's really interesting to me because the Philadelphia Eagles they've won now 2 Super Bowls in the midnight green. And still, people can't get enough of the Kelly green. Is it because of the heavy Irish-American population in Philadelphia? I don't know. Is it because Kelly green is just a more fire color than midnight green? Probably. But Saquon Barkley's going to be on the cover of Madden in the Kelly green with the no-look leap, the backwards hurdle, whatever you want to call it. And it is, talking about fire, it is straight fire. It is incredible. Also, 2 other Philadelphia connections in the mass media world yesterday. One, we knew it in Madden with Kate Scott, obviously the 76ers play-by-play announcer, a guest of the Farsi Show as well. She'll be doing the play-by-play for Madden. That's pretty awesome. And how about this? A former 76er getting a shout out in the movie world. I think I'm late to this party. I just realized this today. It came up in my algo. But I'm always happy to see this brief 76er out there amongst the people. Also, the Phillies had a rotation shuffle. We'll get into that. But let's start things off with Vic Fangio, who is set to address the media today. I have said many, 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 many times that the biggest questions, and I really feel like this is just acknowledging a fact more than it is stating an opinion. The most question marks that the Philadelphia Eagles have going into the 2025 season exist on the defensive side of the football, not the offensive side of the football. You're essentially running it back offensively speaking, few exceptions. Defensively speaking, you don't have your starting safety from the Super Bowl. You don't have one of your starting corners from the Super Bowl. You don't have one of your most used defensive tackles other than Jalen Carter from the Super Bowl. You don't have him back in Milton Williams. Brandon Graham retired. You got a lot of work to do. Jacoby Dean is still on the mend. Jahad Campbell apparently is still on the mend, but should be ready to go by season starting. Far more question marks on the defensive side of the football than the offensive side of the football. So Vic Fangio is going to get to address some of those questions today when he speaks to the media for the first time of the 2025 calendar football year. Expectations I have for Vic Fangio. Number one, the first thing, I don't expect much on the Bryce Huff situation. At most, I expect from Vic Fangio when he gets the question, why don't you think it worked here with Bryce Huff? What I expect to hear is very simple. Just wasn't the right fit for either side. Something along those lines. If he says anything, he's not usually mum is the word. He'll usually offer something. And I think the only thing he'll really offer is along the lines of just not the right fit. I mean, let's also keep in mind, when we talk about coach speak with coaches, often, or coordinators in this case, often they shy away from an opinion that could be somewhat controversial. Let's not forget that the head coach of this football team said he called a play last year against the Cleveland Browns in that infamous press conference after the jawing with the fans and all that. Oh, I called a play defensively, blah, blah, blah. And then literally that week, Vic Fangio was like, he didn't call a play. First off, that always lets you know that man's going to be honest. I don't believe he's going to be as honest or as, what's the word, forthcoming about a guy that's no longer here in Bryce Huff. So all I expect, very simply, it wasn't the right fit. I expect him to just kind of touch on players' progression through the offseason, how guys have looked, communication with guys. I really would love to hear, so not much on that either, but I would really love to hear his involvement in the draft process. What we have heard before, like things with Quenyon Mitchell, Zach Bond, not a draft pick, but certainly an offseason acquisition last year. What I expect to hear from Vic Fangio when it comes to the draft process is how much he works with Howie Roseman on selecting players that are going to fit his scheme and also have the mental know-how to be around someone as demanding as Vic Fangio. How demanding is he? Well, you only won a Super Bowl by a blowout, and he was critiquing your second half performance. So, yeah, he's not going to leave many stones unturned. He's not going to he's going to be the captain of the BS police. He's going to call out a guy like Jalen Carter when he doesn't say good morning to him. Those types of guys. The little things that many people won't associate with is being part of the game. He associates with being part of the game because guess what? You're part of the game, and he wants to know your mental makeup. He wants to know what makes you tick. So I want to hear how he was involved in Jahad Campbell. How he looked pretty excited when he walked into that room with Howie Roseman, getting Jahad Campbell there at 31, people. Eagles traded up one spot to get him, and Vic Fangio acted like it was Christmas morning. Also, how he plans to mold this defense in a similar way that he did last year. If Drew Makuba really is that number one guy, if he sees him being the starting safety, if it's going to be something he's going to have to take away from somebody else, because he's not taking it away from Sidney Brown. He's not taking it away from Tristan McCullum. He's coming in here expected to be the starting safety. As you guys know, I have very much been on the bandwagon of Justin Simmons coming to Philadelphia to play safety for the Philadelphia Eagles and his former head coach in Denver, in Vic Fangio. I'm curious to see if any kind of qualifier gets used by Vic Fangio when talking about Drew Makuba or the safety position in general. I want to know if there's any little tip of the cap or acknowledgement that what is right now might not be by the time the season starts. The example I always go to for this is when the Eagles had Sam Bradford and they drafted Carson Wentz, and Doug Peterson I don't know what reporter asked him, but they ended their question something along the lines of, Sam Bradford, your starting quarterback right now. And Doug Peterson's eyes lit up, man. They just lit up. And he just went, right now? And it was like Doug found his new favorite phrase, right now. Right now, Sam Bradford's our starting quarterback. Right now. Because right now, you can't lie about right now. You can't call me on a lie a week later, because a week later ain't right now. So I'm curious to see if there's anything like that said with Vic Fangio about, oh, yeah, right now, Drew Makuba is our starting safety. Oh, right now? I mean, I don't expect him to give the depth chart by any means, but when you didn't have a starting safety at the end, your starting safety isn't here from last year. I'm very curious to see what he has to say, or hear what he has to say about that safety spot. And if anything he says is going to lead me to believe further, they got something up their sleeve. And I think that's something they got up their sleeve is named Justin Simmons. All right. So we'll get to that. Or that's what I hope he gets into today. And then how do you replace the production of Milton Williams? How do you replace that? Because Jordan Davis ain't it. I'd love to hear him talk about another step forward for Jordan Davis and being somebody that could use out there for 3 downs, 4 downs. I don't see it. So I'm not even really expecting that today. But who's next up? What's the progression of Moro Ojomo? How's he looked? What are your expectations of Ty Robertson when he comes in here to play defensive tackle for this team? Overall, how's the D-line going to look? Azeez Ojulari, injury, long injury history. Joshua Uche, another veteran coming in here to try to help your edge rusher position. What are the real expectations when it comes to this defensive line as a whole, including edge rushers? Especially if you're not going to be blitzing, as you typically don't blitz. So what's the next step for this defense now that they're moving on from Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham? When you talk about the guys that are going to be in there at the either edge, interior defensive line positions, whatever it might be, how does that look? How do you see that all coming together? That's some things I want to see and hear from Vic Fangio today. I expect some pretty solid answers from him. I mean, he's a guy that just wants to be a straight shooter, and that's that. So I look forward to hearing something of honesty today from him. Is he going to give you the full-on cookbook? No, he's obviously not. But I do think he's got a tough time lying or BSing people, even if it's the media. So those are some things that I want to hear from Vic Fangio today, and I'm very curious to hear how he answers some of these questions. The Bryce Huff thing, I think, will be very interesting. So I look forward to hearing him today at noon. As far as some other things going on here, look, I got to show you. This, if you haven't seen it yet, is absolutely incredible. I think I'm too old to use the word fire, okay? But I'm going to use it anyway. This Madden cover with Saquon Barkley on it is straight fire. For the people on the podcast, I am showing the Madden 26 cover with Saquon Barkley's, I call it the no-look leap, the backwards hurdle, whatever. Everybody calls it backwards hurdle. But it's in Kelly Green. It was against the Jaguars. It was absolutely incredible. It was one of those things you just went, what? No way. Did that just happen? I've never seen that before. So Saquon Barkley gets on the Madden cover with it. This ain't nothing. This is awesome. This is going to be on every kid's download on their video game. I almost said on their shelf, but who even has a shelf anymore of video games? But it's going to be on every kid-wise. It's going to be on every kid's download. Every time they pop on Madden, they're going to see Saquon Barkley popping over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it's one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen in my life. They were trying to recreate the move time and time again. And I saw the video of Saquon Barkley. At first, I was like, is that Saquon Barkley? Because I don't think Saquon Barkley needs the, what do you call it? The ropes. I don't think he needs to be lifted up by the ropes. And then I thought about it, and I was like, he's got to do this over and over and over again. I doubt he's got like 10 of those in him. So, yeah, I guess the wiring certainly helps in lifting him up. And plus, it certainly looked like he was freezing in air for a second for them to capture the move so they could use it in the video game and get the picture, obviously. So that, to me, it was just cool to see that behind-the-scenes footage that they put out there yesterday. But I absolutely love this. This just makes everything from last year even more iconic. Now, I know it's a question, and I know it always gets mentioned whenever you talk about, when I was a kid, it was the Sports Illustrated front cover curse. The Madden cover curse is something that always gets talked about. No. Let me just say, no. For the people in the back. No! I am not concerned at all about a Madden cover curse. I am not concerned with curses. I'm not a superstitious guy. Every once in a while, I'll fall into a little obsessive compulsive set. That's about it. Then I brush it off, and I'm good. Philadelphia Eagles are to me not going to be concerned about a front cover curse. I think they're going to be more concerned about getting the passing game more involved in this offense so that Saquon Barkley is not used or doesn't need to be used as much as he was last year. So for me, I'm not going to be blaming a curse. If God forbid Saquon Barkley gets hurt, I'm going to blame football being a rough sport and injuries happen. Or I'm going to be blaming Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, maybe even Jalen Hurts. Maybe you're checking to your boy too much, my man. That's what I'm going to be concerned about in the upcoming season. I'm not going to be concerned about the superstitious, even little stitious forces of the universe frowning upon Saquon Barkley. Not going to do it. Not going to go there. I do not entertain that idea. I only bring it up because I know when I was reading comments on it yesterday, I went, oh, come on. Seriously, we're going with the curse again. Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? Because I don't buy it. I don't buy it. There are crazy coinky dinks in life. And sometimes you just got to accept that. Guys getting hurt in football is not because of a picture applying or being applied to the cover of a video game. Okay. It did also just start putting the quarter in the machine of getting ready because, I mean, let's see here. You got OTAs today. You got, I think, another round of them. And then you got your mandatory mini camp. And then training camp. We're that much closer. Oh, man. And then, of course, it makes you go down the rabbit hole of just the overall excitement because obviously, I want the team to be well over a Super Bowl championship, and I want them to be focused on winning it again. It has been limited. It has been limited in my life. Really, only one other time where the Phillies won in 2008, and you just thought with a young Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins and Cole Hamels that this team was going to be together for a long time, and Jason Worth was still here, and he obviously still had some great years left in him. You just felt like this team was going to – you felt like the Phillies were going to do it again. This Philadelphia Eagles team, and the Phillies, they won in 5 games that World Series. It still didn't feel like the blowout that this Philadelphia Eagles team had over the Kansas City Chiefs. I have never felt more confident in a champion coming back the next year to win a championship again than I do in the Philadelphia Eagles. I realize that's limited in terms of the sample size. The 2008 Phillies and the 2017-2018 Philadelphia Eagles. Those are the championships in my lifetime. But I have never felt more confident. Like the Eagles win in 2017, 2018, and it's like, all right, well, you know you're going to get Carson Wentz back. How's that going to go? Is he going to be true to form and all that? I in no way, shape, or form expected the debacle that went on with the personality of Carson Wentz and the relationship with a lot of guys in that locker room. Didn't see that one coming. He still had confidence because, hey, look, before the injury, he was still, Super Bowl, or excuse me, he was still MVP that season. And then the injury happened. And then he wasn't MVP. But this Eagles team running it back with this offense, and this Eagles team with still some pretty talented players on that defense, and Vic Fangio running it, I feel pretty damn good. I feel pretty damn good in Quentin Mitchell. I feel pretty damn good in Cooper DeJean. I still feel really good in Jalen Carter and Zach Bond. Feel really good. Love Jahad Campbell being on this defense. I know we've talked, and I opened the show with talking a lot about the guys that were the departures, but the arrivals, they're not, minced meat. You know what I mean? They're not chopped liver. Adoree Jackson has had a good NFL career. Has he been great? Obviously, he hasn't been great. Has he had anything illustrious as Darius Slay? Obviously not. But I still think he is a good NFL corner. You could have someone who is still emerging in Cooper DeJean play on the outside. I'm not rooting for it, but I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibility. One of the articles I was reading, 2 weeks ago from Jeff McClain was talking about how, hey, do you want Cooper DeJean on the field more or less? And I'm like, I kind of want him on the field more. But not if that's to put him in a position where he might not be as strong at. And after watching him play nickel after the bye week last year, it's hard to believe that he could be stronger than that. But hey, why stop challenging the guy? I have a lot of confidence in Nakobe Dean coming back from his injury, came back last year from his injury and played at a near Pro Bowl level. You have guys that are going to come off that bench and look to step up, like guys like Sidney Brown in the secondary if he ends up winning that job for the time being right now before Justin Simmons is here. There's guys I'm excited to see on the defensive side of the football. And again, you put it under the command of Vic Fangio, and you can still have some confidence in that. So there's a lot I look forward to with this season as far as them repeating as Super Bowl champions. Another question there would obviously go to Kevin Patullo. We've talked a lot about that already, but I've never felt more confident in a champion than I've seen in Philadelphia than the Philadelphia Eagles right now, going back to the Super Bowl and winning it again. Most of that comes down to the offense, of course, and defensively, it's similar to, but not equal to, similar to the right guard position of the Philadelphia Eagles. Whoever the Eagles are going to put in there, you're going to feel confident. Because, hold on a second. Jeff Stoutland gave this his blessing? Okay. All right, we're good. So it's like whoever the Eagles put there defensively, you can look at Vic Fangio and go, oh, okay, well, Vic Fangio approved, so this must be okay. That's how you feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I can't remember. Maybe you're older than me. Maybe you felt confident that the 82-83 Sixers were going to win again. I don't know. I was 8 months old. I don't know how I felt about it. More milk. That's probably how I felt about it. The Flyers obviously winning in the 70s. Before they almost won 3 in a row. Maybe you felt great about it. Maybe the Phillies in 1980. You felt like they were going to go back again. But I can tell you right now, in my lifetime, hey, maybe the 1960 NFL champion Philadelphia Eagles you felt were going to win in 61. I don't know. I think Chuck Bednarik retired. I don't think he was done after that. Anyway, I can't remember a time. It's unfortunate there's not too many examples, but of all the examples I've lived through, this is the one I feel most confident about, being able to go right back and provide another parade down Broad Street. So you let me know. Your Philadelphia Phillies. So Vic Fangio addressed the media today at noon. Practice 12:45. Media can go to practice, and then press conferences, I'm sure, will take place just like 2 weeks ago, where they had Jalen speak, they had A.J. Brown speak, Jordan Mailata speak, and there's one more I'm missing, I think. Jalen Hunt. Your Philadelphia Phillies. So right now is not a great time, unfortunately. Going into this Toronto series, 3-game set with the Blue Jays, the Mets are a game and a half up on the Phillies. Nationals, Braves, and Marlins are, let's just say they're back there. Right now, it's a 2-horse race. I maintain the opinion that the Atlanta Braves still have a better run in them than what they had. The Marlins, people, the Marlins just lost to the Colorado Rockies. That's exciting. So it's a 2-horse race right now in the NL East with the Phillies and the Mets. Phillies start this series in Toronto. Now, another rotation shuffle for the Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Wheeler. He and his wife are expecting his 4th kid. I assume this was recent. I saw Crossing Broad put out a video. I don't know if it was Zach Wheeler putting it out there or his wife putting it out there, but Crossing Broad picked it up, and it was them in the hospital getting ready to have their 4th child together. And yes, his wife looked very pregnant. Beautiful. Did I say beautiful? Beautiful, but also very pregnant, and looks like she's ready to deliver. Well, it's literally any day. Ready to deliver very soon. In the very, very near future. It could be happening right now. God bless them both. So Zach Wheeler unavailable to pitch. Now, the Phillies do have some flexibility here due to the schedule, being that they had the off day yesterday. Some guys here have extra rest. So with Wheeler being out today, Christopher Sanchez is going to pitch today. Mick Abel is going to pitch tomorrow. And then Jesus Luzardo is going to look to bounce back from his horrendous start. His horrendous start by pitching Thursday. Thursday's game against the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's the way that works out. Also, Bryce Harper is set to return to this lineup after missing the last 4 games since being hit, really the last 4 games since being hit in the elbow by Spencer Strider. So I am excited to see that for this Phillies offense. Very excited to see this for this Phillies offense. Phillies are now 36-23, as you just saw there in the standings. I want to make sure I have this right. Has it been 4 games? I feel like it's been longer. Or is that just because they've been losing? 1, 2, 3, 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it happened in his first at bat. So really 6 games the Phillies have been without Bryce Harper. I've referenced his numbers already a number of times, over 300 in the month of May. 383 on base percentage. Yeah, I think the Phillies missed that guy. The Mets have won 8 of their last 10. The Phillies are 500 in their last 10. I would very much like to see the Phillies get back on that winning track. One of the things, and I don't know how this happens for a big league ball club, but right now you got to feel like you're in it in terms of the lull that could be hitting a ball club at any moment. And right now the Phillies, I think, have to feel like they're in that lull. They have to acknowledge it and they have to correct it. I talked yesterday about the high stepping from Kyle Schwarber when he was able to reach base on that accidental RBI check swing single against the Brewers over the weekend. I thought that was him trying to be light. I thought that was him trying to be loose. I thought that was him trying to, make sure that the weight of a soon-to-be 4-game losing streak, only 3-game losing streak at the time, wasn't too much on the Phillies' shoulders. I think that's an active thing by a veteran and a leader. And when I see a guy like Kyle Schwarber do anything like that, whether it's outside the realm of just playing the game, if he's high-stepping, which is the only time it's ever happened, or if he's pulling a guy aside to look at the iPad, take a guy into the cage to go through his swings, anytime I see him doing something extra in a very good way, I'm reminded of Dave Dombrowski's line about why they acquired Kyle Schwarber. And if you don't remember this, it's all about leadership. And it really blew me away when he said it. If you remember, before the Phillies went and played the Houston Astros in the World Series, they played them at the end of the season, the end of the regular season. And Dave Dombrowski was in the booth. And they were doing like the end of the year interviews and stuff like that, where they'll roll in the general manager and the president of baseball ops, and they'll talk to them in the final series of the season about their outlook on the postseason, how the whole season went and all that. So Dave Dombrowski sits in there, and he had a comparison for Kyle Schwarber that I think it definitely still blows me away, and I think it blew a lot of Phillies fans away at the time. He said, Kyle Schwarber walking through a clubhouse, the respect he demands and the eyeballs that go to him to look for leadership, that are in search of leadership. The only person that you could compare it to in his career was Darren Dalton going to the then Florida Marlins during the 97 season when they won the World Series and Dave Dombrowski was the GM. When they traded for Darren Dalton, he said that was the type of aura, that was the type of presence that he carried with him in the locker room. So right now, I mean, look, the Phillies went through a horrible stretch last season. Phillies have had a great start to this season. Not as great as last year, but still a great start to this season. The Mets having a great start also, unfortunately, diminishes that a little bit. But Kyle Schwarber is the guy I feel like this locker room, this clubhouse is looking to make sure that they don't grip the bat too tight, to make sure they don't get too worried, to make sure they don't get caught in that proverbial quicksand, where the more they struggle, the more they sink. Now you're going up and you're facing a near 500, hovering around 500 Blue Jays team, good baseball team, a team that it always feels like the Phillies struggle a little bit against. Wins don't come easy up there, but now you're going back on that road trip. You came home after 6-1, 7-game road trip. You won 2 or 3 against the Braves, and then you got swept. You lost 4 in a row. You've lost 5 of your last 10. How do you make sure that this doesn't spiral out of control to the point of, oh, yeah, they were doing great, and then, oh, man, now they only need to start thinking about the wild card. God forbid June is the month that you kind of fall back down to earth, because this is the month where you're supposed to be piping hot. I look at the Philadelphia Phillies going into this month of June, with an opportunity to reset a little bit, catch their breath. We won a lot of games to this point. Now make sure it doesn't go out of control like it did last year. Not to the point where you missed the playoffs, obviously, but just to the point of where you really had to struggle in September to make sure that you were still able to be a playoff team. Phillies control that. Phillies nip anything in the bud right now before it grows out of control. And that's when I look at a guy like Kyle Schwarber to be that leader. Bryce Harper coming back to the lineup is a huge lift to this baseball team. The question is, how does Bryce Harper pick up where he left off? I don't think it's going to be an immediate thing. I'm not expecting him in his first 7 games back, his first week back, to hit 300 or 315 or 320. I think it's going to be a struggle, unfortunately. I would love to see in this series him go the other way with some pitches, just show that he's got good plate discipline, good plate coverage, and take it from there. Show me the steps back. Shouldn't take too long. I mean, it's 5-6 games here. It's not a month. Show me that, because the fact that he was also hit in the same reconstructed elbow that made him, get the Tommy John surgery and all that stuff, and made him a first baseman, is somewhat concerning. But I also don't think the Phillies are going to rush him back. So if he's back, I believe it's because he's ready to be back, and not because, we desperately need you. You ready to go? I think it's going to be because he's ready to come back. The thing that I absolutely love in this series, though, that I'm looking forward to against the Blue Jays is Mick Abel pitching again. Was phenomenal. Shutout. Went up against Paul Skeens in his major league debut, and he just went out there and was flat out dominant through 6 scoreless innings. I know a lot of people want to talk about, he did his job and all that stuff. It was a 1-0 game for the 23-year-old out of Portland, Oregon. 6 scoreless innings, 5 hits, 9 strikeouts. Do it again. Not today, but tomorrow. Do it again. Really look forward to seeing that. And also, I look forward to Jesus Luzardo. I think JT Realmuto, speak about leadership, for all the struggles we've talked about with JT Realmuto this season, especially only at the plate, really. The best advice you could give Jesus Luzardo, he gave him after he was charged for 12 runs in 3 1/3. And it was, this one's over. Step off this mound like he did in the 4th inning of that game. This one's already over. It's all about the next one. My only issue is the last 2 first innings in particular that he's struggled. So I feel like if he goes out there on Thursday against the Blue Jays and he's able to, have control, have a quick inning, I feel like that'll be a huge monkey off his back. I feel like if he goes out there in the first inning on Thursday and he cruises through that first inning, 1, 2, 3, then I feel like you're going to have another 7-inning, 1-run, 7-inning, 2-run performance from Jesus Luzardo. So I look forward to seeing that from him. So look, I just overall, I'm very, very much looking forward to this series getting underway. 7:07 start time tonight, by the way, against the Blue Jays. And you're going to have Christopher Sanchez on the hill for the Phillies. Get it going. I mentioned they're around a 500 baseball team. They're 31-28 coming into this series. And you want to see the Phillies handle their business, obviously. Hey, 76ers. Really not so much about the 76ers as much as it is a former 76er. So I believe I was in 6th grade when Happy Gilmore came out. And Adam Sandler had that run of, it was like Billy Madison, and then, Happy Gilmore was the next one up that just was like the must-see movie. If you were in grade school, you just had to see these movies. Still love the original Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. I am very much looking forward to seeing it. And they have a lot of hat tips and shout-outs to the original. One of my most memorable characters, one of my favorite characters, and I should say, I wish I remembered his name. It was one of my favorite characters, but I use the line a lot when I golf. Is if I find a friend's ball or whatever, is this your ball? It struck my foot. That. In the role I guess taking the part or place in that role, is Boban Marjanovic, former 76ers center and the captain of efficiency. Boban Marjanovic is going to be playing that role. Now, Boban Marjanovic was in John Wick, as I know a lot of the John Wick people know. Boban Marjanovic was also with Adam Sandler in the movie Hustle, a movie I loved. Now they're back together again in Happy Gilmore 2, and he'll be playing that role. I can't wait to see it. Absolutely can't wait to see it. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. And how about this? The Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. You could just filter out all the fluff and get right down to it on the Game Time app. So you don't have to scroll through literally thousands of tickets. You get right down to it with the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportsnation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fine Tuesday, or excuse me, when was it? Tuesday morning. Drakeford, what's going on, Drake? Good day to you as well. Kevin, hello, Kevin. Drakeford, I think the media can't go into the locker room until September. I think you're right. That's why they have the availability in the auditorium. Drakeford, probably nostalgia in Kelly Green. Yeah, but I know guys that I have lived more of my life in the Midnight Green era than I did the Kelly Green era. And people still, my age, go back to the Kelly Green. People younger still go to the Kelly Green. I think it's just a cooler color. And I think any Eagles fan does go back and watch highlights of Randall and that kind of stuff, and Jaws, and I think they do like the retro vibe. I think they certainly like the retro vibe. I liken it to this. And I noticed this again. I mentioned I was down in Tennessee visiting my nephew who goes to University of Tennessee. And I noticed on the college campuses, a lot of guys are dressed like my dad in the 80s. Like they're dressed like, they even have mustaches. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's the style. And what's old becomes new, what's new becomes old, and then it all recycles, okay? So I think it's part of that as well, that throwback retro feel. I think that's a big part of it. Speaking of Darkwing Duck, what's up? Speaking of Madden, we need bubble wrap, and AJ is getting the ball a lot this season. I concur. Drake, for the lack of depth and quality depth at the defensive end and defensive tackle positions. Yeah, I mean, I do like Moro Ojomo. I think he's gonna have a good year. I like the draft pick of Ty Robinson. Yeah, but it's not proven commodities like Milton Williams, for instance. But yeah, I agree with that. Defensive end, I don't feel like I feel like they have a lot of depth. Edge rusher, defensive end. Whether it's Uche, Ojulari, if they use John Campbell in that situation, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, most importantly. I feel like they got talent. They got talent. And if Ozeez Ojulari is healthy this year, and talk about not a curse so much, but that MetLife Stadium turf doesn't seem to do anybody any favors. So maybe some natural South Philly grass. Maybe that'll do some wonders for his game. So I'm actually feeling pretty good. Snapback Jug. You look like our coach, Nick Sirianni. You look just like Nick. I have gotten that many times. I have been stopped in public. It just happened at the tailgate when I was going to the Phillies game on Saturday with Little Toots and the family. That was amazing, by the way, for her first game. If I didn't say that yesterday, she absolutely loved it. So did Leo. Leo thought it was fantastic. Leo is not old enough to crash the show yet, so I understand you guys don't associate. But anyway, yeah, a guy came up to me. He was like staring at me. And I was like, he either knows me from media or he thinks I'm Nick Sirianni. It turns out he thought I was Nick Sirianni. Actually, funny story on that. I was at, where was I? I was at Walmart the other day. Yeah, getting my fishing license for the year. And, because that's where I go. And I was at Walmart and a guy in a Dallas Cowboy jersey and a Dallas Cowboy cap is staring at me. And I was just like, hey, man, how you doing? And he's like looking at me. And I'm like, I'm going to wait because he's like, you. And I'll say most people will get me from Fox 29 with the foot bald segments and stuff like that. And he goes, no. I thought you were Jim. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I thought you were Jim. You look like this guy Jim I work with. You're not Jim, though. I go, no, I'm definitely not Jim. But thanks, I guess. No idea anything else I did in life. He just thought I looked like Jim. No Nick Sirianni lookalike. No TV. No Farzy show. No Locked On Sports. Nothing. No Seth Joyner show with Derek Gunn and Seth for the Eagles coverage. No, nothing. Just I look like Jim. Thank you for that humbling moment, sir. And Cowboys suck. There you go. Anyway, and I did get my fishing license. So there you go. I say it like you have to qualify for it. But Drakeford, Huff might not be the right fit because he's not a 3-down defensive end, but he's a pure pass rusher. They should have held on to him for depth, though the organization saved about $8 million. Yeah, no, I fully support them getting rid of Bryce Huff. I fully support it. Depth for me is not just having a warm body. It's someone that you know can produce in your scheme, and he couldn't. He couldn't. Paid 9617. Good morning. Good morning. You're scared of the Madden curse? Don't be. Go Sixers. Farzy, you're back on TV. I am back on TV, I guess. Drakeford, they should take away carries from Barkley this year to keep him from wearing down. I agree. He won't get as many yards this year as he did last. That's fine, and I don't care. Sean Gillespie, hello, good morning. Everyone's saying good morning. Definitely not repeating now. What, because of the Madden curse? Come on, people. You blame Howie Roseman? Interesting. Trying to understand the voided contracts. You don't need to. They're just things that put up there. Love for you. What? I don't know that name, but nice to have you here, 420. Is this live? Yes, it's live. We're live, baby. Hope you trade for a tight end number 2. Hey, shout out to Archbishop Wood, Kyle Pitts, but don't see it happening. J Hoffa 22, great name. We found you. Okay. We are so damn stacked and focused with this team. Nobody's even close to us again this year. We know what we have to do, and we're still hungry, and the group gets in. You know, thanks for bringing that up because I meant to mention this earlier. J Hoffa 22. I can't remember a team that was ever not satisfied with winning a championship as much as the Philadelphia Eagles are not satisfied with winning a Super Bowl championship. Like AJ Brown, literally after the fact, like, oh yeah, that wore off faster than I thought it would. Like you play your whole life to win that game, and then you win the game, and you got plenty of great years left in the NFL, and it's like that's it. That's all that was. Well, here's the forever. The forever is whenever A.J. Brown is doing an event, an autograph signing, public appearance, whenever he gets introduced. Back at Lincoln Financial Field. Super Bowl champion A.J. Brown. That will get said before your name. Your first name is not A anymore. It's not AJ anymore. It's Super Bowl champion AJ Brown. That's your name for the rest of eternity. That's where I think it'll sink in a little bit more. But I've never seen a team less satisfied after winning a championship like the Philadelphia Eagles are not satisfied. Jalen Hurts, for crying out loud, and I go back to this a lot, but oh my goodness gracious. Jalen Hurts acted like winning a Super Bowl was an inconvenience to his offseason regimen. Like, what more do you need? Yeah, these other guys are already, well into their offseason regimens, and they're going to be ready to go. And I had to win I was busy winning a Super Bowl, is the way that's not how he said it, but it was like it. But yeah, I never heard anyone talk about it as if it was an inconvenience. Sean Kilrain, good morning. Good morning. There you go. Drakeford, no, they are not stacked on defense. Farzy said that's his concern. There you go. It's a question mark. They haven't even replaced the production of the players. Yeah, there's question marks there. But again, like I was also saying, it goes down to Vic Fangio signing off on these guys. I feel pretty good about that. Fredo, what's up, Fredo? Drakeford, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. The 2022 team I thought would be back definitely. Oh, but yeah, me too. After losing the Super Bowl, I felt like they'd be back. I did not expect the historic and awful collapse that happened at the end of 2023. But yeah, they were back and they won. Farzy can't bet the bar. What's up? Farzy, would you consider the Phillies cooked if they don't make multiple moves at the trade deadline? I do. Do I consider them cooked? If they don't make a significant bullpen acquisition, and I don't see him doing it, but I look at the center field position. Like, you can't be better than what you have right now. Even left field, you can't be better than what you have right now. I still think they would make the playoffs with the roster as is, but I don't want to just make the playoffs. This team has been in the World Series. They've taken a step back since then. This team needs to win a World Series. This team needs to win a World Series, especially if Kyle Schwarber is not going to be re-signed. Roscoe, is it okay? Farzetta, the Phillies remind me of the Democratic Party. Talk a good game, but always. Okay, thank you for that political tie-in. I don't really see things politically, so that's on you. Or that's how you want to do it. There you go. Farzy, the Mets, Cubs, Dodgers are all better than the Phillies as their rosters are constructed right now. All right, well, the Phillies beat the Cubs. The Phillies have beat the Dodgers. They haven't beat the Mets. Viva supports just okay. Yeah. The Mets are the only team that scare me right now. The Dodgers are great, but for whatever reason, the Phillies just beat the Dodgers. For the last 2 years, by the way. How about that? Sean Kilrain, the only wide receiver in franchise history with multiple 50 receiving yards Super Bowls, the Slim Reaper. Let me tell you this. On that note, Sean, this is the world I grew up in. I grew up in the world of only one wide receiver caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Greg Lewis. That's it. That's it. Carolyn. Wow, that's a great point. They want to play a World Cup final in the MetLife turf. That's crazy. That is a great point. That is crazy. Buddy Christ. Good morning. Hello. JB, what's up? Great show today. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you. Or Jim, whatever. Swooping is lame. All right, Farzy, what's your pizza topping? Pepperoni. I don't eat plain pizza. I eat pepperoni. I like to think of pizza, a plain pizza, as a wonderful opportunity to put meat on it. I eat pepperoni pizza. I don't eat just cheese pizza. Don't waste my time. You got to have a nice, I got pepperoni. You got to have a nice soppressata. That's what I put on it. That's all my pizza. That's what I eat. I eat pepperoni pizza. Boom. Every once in a while, I'll enjoy a nice Neapolitan if I'm feeling fancy. You know what I'm saying? With the fresh mozzarella and the basil and the nice tomato. I got a pizza maker. That's what I make. I make two things. I make the Neapolitan and I make the Napolitan and I make the pepperoni. Not even pepperoni, actual soppressata. I buy soppressata and slice it real thin, get it real crispy. There is a pizza I dream about, and it's in the Amalfi Coast, Positano, Italy. Oh, God. It means the golden... What? Oh, God, I'm forgetting it. I forget it. But anyway. Oh, man, the soppressata just... so flaky, so delicious. Hurts passes for 5,000 yards. That's your prediction? I like it. Oh, a three-peat, Eric R. Let's do it. Right. What's up? Good morning, Farzy and friends. The vast majority of us loved the Midnight Green when it was introduced. Now it's Kelly Green, so we can remember the good old days of Dallas being good. That's funny. That's funny. Ken Saad, good morning. Dropping a Greg Lewis reference as swooping is lame. Yep. Yes, I am. Mike Fittery, what's up, buddy? Philly should sign Petey Cavilla from the 93 a mullet Amish team to play left field. Petey Cavilla, my all-time favorite Philly. Yes, they should. Thank you, Carolyn. You get me. You get me. Pizza should be a vehicle for pepperoni. I agree. If I'm at taking my kids to a birthday party, whatever, and they got pizza, and I open it up and I see plain pizza, I'm like, okay, good. Now I know this one's pepperoni. And then I open it up and I see more plain pizza. I go, what are we doing here, folks? I take the pizza, I throw it, I make the children cry, and I look at the parents. I say, you did that. No, okay. Maybe one time I did it. And that's why I have anger management. No. But I'll look at, here's the plain pizza. Okay, this must be pepperoni. Open it, see more plain. Little part of me dies. And then I'm like, they get chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A anywhere or something? Those seem to be the staples of the kid birthday parties. The pizza, a platter of Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, and obviously cake. Sometimes a fruit bowl that I don't go near. Yeah, those are the standards. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies 7:07 tonight against the Blue Jays to start that 3-game series north of the border. Bowden Francis, right-handed pitcher, will get the start for the Blue Jays. He's 2-6 in the season with a 5.04 ERA. So the Phillies obviously are going to get shut out for like 7 innings. Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phillies, looking to improve to 5-1 on the season. He's got a 3.32 ERA. He's coming off a 5 2/3, 2-run, 7-hit performance in a win over the Braves. The interesting thing about that was a bit of a quick hook again for Christopher Sanchez. If you remember, he had been earlier in the season against the Mets. He dealt with that numbness in his fingers. He only, if I remember this correctly, he only threw 88 pitches in 5 2/3 against the Braves. So I'd love to see, at least a 6-inning performance, a full 6 innings from him. I'd like to see him get to about 9,500 pitches just to make sure that he's okay and get back on track that way. And the Phillies should hit. Bryce Harper back in the lineup today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys. Hey, today, busy day. Farzy show wrapped up. Later today, I'm going to be taping Locked On 76ers Daily Podcast with Keith Pompey. Noon today on Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Noon today, Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Me, Jason Martinez, Harry Mays, and Louis DiBiase will be doing Locked On Eagles Squad podcast at noon today, live. And then tonight, after the Phillies and Blue Jays game 1, I'll be on Locked On Phillies YouTube channel for your Locked On Phillies post-cast. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to all the above. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Also like and subscribe to Farzy Show. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to Farzy Show. Like and subscribe to Jacob Media. I'm sorry, I see this question right here. Danny Prado, do you like pineapple on pizza? No, because pineapple on pizza is not pizza. How dare you for even suggesting? Doesn't belong on pizza. It's not supposed to be on pizza. It's a mortal sin. You don't put pineapple on pizza. Okay, if you like pineapple on pizza, we all have our issues. I know that you could get therapy. People can help talk you through that issue, and you'll be better for it on the other side. No pineapple on pizza. Horrendous. If you have pineapple on pizza, I have a cousin, not Italian side of the family, who enjoys it. And I tell him it's just pineapple toast. It's not pizza. Don't call that pizza. How dare you? Anyway, other than that, have a great rest of your day, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. See you throughout the day on the Locked On Networks, of course. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys, like I said, throughout the day.